One of the first things you'll notice when configuring your Google Analytics dashboard is that many of your visitors aren't even coming from your home country. According to a recent report, 73.2% of internet users speak languages other than English. This means you should optimize your website for country-specific search engines. It can be intimidating, and as a result, many clients come to us asking for help. In this video, we'll discuss how to begin working on your international SEO. Let's begin with when you should start doing it. You should consider international SEO if you are no longer satisfied with your local operations and want to take your business to the next level, if your business has a large worldwide customer base, if developing a new web presence for specific countries or languages will result in more traffic and conversions, and lastly, if you have the time and means to develop an international SEO plan. Does this sound like you? Then it's time to identify and assess international SEO opportunities. Consider your business model. Ask yourself these questions to understand what it could really mean to go global. How does your business work online? What are your online goals? How are you delivering your products or services? Are your services completely site-based, or do you also offer local services? Do you have the capacity to deliver products or services globally? What are your business constraints? It's important to understand the implications of going international from the start. Failing to correctly evaluate your business's strengths and weaknesses may lead to wasted time or money. You should use Google Analytics to discover if your website even has the potential for a global audience. Simply navigate to Audience and then Location to see what countries are visiting your site. If you want to see visibility for organic search listings, simply add organic traffic as a second dimension. This would be for multi-regional SEO. Next, you're going to want to check out the language information. And you can dig deeper and check out organic traffic sources per language and country by navigating to Acquisition, and then to All Traffic, and then the Channels tab. Click on Organic Search, then choose Source as your primary dimension. Google Analytics also provides a wealth of information that will help you determine whether you should invest in international SEO. Here's one important thing to remember though. Google isn't as big in other countries as it is here in the United States. Russia's Yandex, for example, has 60% market share. South Korea's Naver has 70% market share. China's Baidu has a market share of 75 to 80%. You need to find out what the most popular search engine is in the country that you are targeting with your international SEO. The final step to identifying international SEO opportunities is to conduct research for potential international search markets. Keywords can vary from one country to another, even for English-speaking ones. We recommend researching potential organic traffic, search phrases, competitors, and behavior using tools such as SEMrush. Start by evaluating the keywords that you're already ranking for in targeted markets with SEMrush. You can do that by clicking on the top Organic Keywords tab to pull out the full list of keywords. Evaluate your search volume, CPCs, keyword difficulty, and competition all right there. If you are not ranking for any keywords, you can conduct a competitive gap analysis for similar websites. To do this, you can check out Alexa's top 500 sites for each country or territory. Copy-paste the domain link to SEMrush, select your desired country, and export a list of all relevant keywords. You can also find opportunities using Google's keyword tools. Simply select the appropriate location and language to begin your keyword search. Consider hiring a native speaker to help you with your languages you don't know. At this point, you should have an understanding of who your potential international customers are and what key phrases they are using. Your next step is to make your site relevant for multiple countries. For example, the US and UK may speak the same language, but they behave differently. Expect customer support at different times, use different currencies, and seek different topics online. Your website structure will also vary. There are 3 choices that you can opt for when setting up your domain architecture, each with its pros and cons. First, there is the URL structure. This one is easy to market and ensures better ranking in SERPs for targeted countries, but it requires a separate SEO strategy and is crawled separately. Next, there is the subdomain. It's easier to track in Google Analytics and is suitable for small businesses. But the domain value is passed to the subdomain, and it's difficult to set up country subdomains for different versions. The last one is the subdirectory. It's easy to execute and inexpensive compared to the other solutions. but it's affected by Google penalties on the domain and does not use a specific IP address for different subdirectories. We recommend going for a language-targeted approach when the location of your audience won't affect services, products, content, or website goals. Websites can switch to the country-targeted approach as they start gaining more activity from a specific country. Now, let's take a look at country targeting. Your goal with country targeting is to reach out to the right audience by creating specific versions of your site for different countries. First, you can consider country code top-level domain, CCTLD. Google has made it clear that they use CCTLD to determine geo-targeting. If you have the technical and financial resource to set up this type of domain structure, it will be worth the investment. If considering the subdomain option, enable your primary country in the domain root, then add additional countries as subdomains. And finally, when considering subdirectories, the main country will appear as the subdomain and additional countries will be created as subdirectories. This solution requires additional geo-localization efforts. Once everything is set up, get ready to populate your website with multilingual content. Properly translating a page can be extremely difficult. Avoid copying your text directly into Google Translate. Instead, you should hire a professional translator to fluently write the content and include any nuances of language or culture. Your goal with international on-site SEO is to optimize your pages so that it's easier for search engines to geolocate them and identify their relevance. Just like with local SEO, use relevant keywords in your URLs, titles, headings, alt descriptions, page content, meta descriptions, the menu, and navigation elements. Easy navigation is also an important SEO ranking factor. You should suggest relevant international versions of your site to visitors. By tracking IP addresses and browser language, you can automatically suggest a relevant version of your site in a non-intrusive way. Finally, you should ensure that all your subdomains and subdirectories are targeting the right geolocation if you aren't using CCTLDs. Did you know that link building strategies also work for international SEO? The only difference is that you will have to focus on a different geographical area. Obtain links from relevant CCTLDs as well as relevant languages. Let's say you have a German page on your site. What better way to prove relevance than by obtaining links from other German domains? Nevertheless, you should never reject links from other websites whether they have your domain extension or not. Great links will always be great links. As long as you build a healthy mix of different domain authorities, natural links, vary your anchor text, your profile will benefit from off-site SEO efforts. After you've optimized all your pages and launched the international version of your website, you have to monitor performance for each language and country using Google Analytics. You should also keep an eye on the performance of your keywords using SEMrush or Authority Labs. Check out more of the Hoth Learning Hub for additional resources on boosting your website's SEO. Are you ready to optimize for international SEO but need help getting started? Simply book a free strategy session with us by clicking the link below.